Yeah, I mean, Luka's making a defensive effort. Okay, I was impressed. Obviously, the elephant in the room is that they have a better record without LeBron James and with him. And to me, this is a view of what the Lakers are going to look like going forward. Whether LeBron James retires or goes into free agency, I don't expect him to be a Laker next season. Evaluate the team and kind of see what Luka and AR need for the future.
Luka Doncic just went off for 51 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists in the Lakers' 142-130 win over the Chicago Bulls. But that's not what this video is about. Let's take it back a few days. The Lakers are hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that was supposed to expose the Lakers' limitations. Instead, the Lakers came out and just take them apart.
It can heat up in a hurry. He's now 1 for 10 from downtown. Doncic, nifty finish.
120-106. Luka drops a 31-point triple-double. Austin Reeves puts up 31 of his own, 29 of them coming in the second half alone. And it wasn't even particularly close. And the whole time, LeBron James is sitting on the bench in street clothes. Now, there's a version of that sentence that sounds like a criticism of LeBron. That's not what this video is. LeBron James is one of the greatest basketball players who's ever lived. That's not even up for debate today. But the Lakers just spent the last 3 games without him, and in that stretch, they beat Minnesota, they held the New York Knicks to just 97 points, and all of a sudden, the Lakers are playing their best basketball of the season without LeBron on the floor. And if you've been paying any attention this season, you probably already know what the numbers I'm about to tell you mean. Because the painfully obvious truth is, the Lakers have found their identity. Today we're going to go through all of it. The stats, the lineup data, the defensive numbers. We're going to talk about what Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are actually building together and why it matters beyond just this season. We're going to get into the uncomfortable conversation nobody in LA really wants to have out loud, but I'm sure many of us already know needs to happen, including what a realistic path forward looks like and what this franchise could genuinely become if the front office is honest with itself and builds this thing properly going into 26-27. So stick around, because the numbers here are genuinely wild. Before we get into the chemistry stuff, before we start talking about what Reeves is doing and why the 2-man game with Luka works, we need to establish the baseline. Because the win-loss record without LeBron James this season is not something you can explain away with sample size arguments or soft scheduling. The gap is too big and too consistent. The Lakers are 26-18 when LeBron plays. That's a decent team. Maybe a 5 or a 6 seed in the West if everything breaks right. But when LeBron sits, they're 14-7. And it's not just the record. The advanced numbers are where it gets really uncomfortable. When Luka, LeBron, and Reeves all share the floor together, the 3 players this organization is built around, the Lakers post a net rating of -9.8. 3 stars on the floor at the same time, and the team is getting beaten badly. That's a problem that shows up consistently across the whole season. Now flip it around. When Luka and Reeves play without LeBron, the net rating is a +19.3. That's one of the best 2-man unit numbers in the entire league. The same 2 players who are part of that broken trio become one of the most dominant backcourt combinations in basketball the moment LeBron is off the floor.
Play a little basketball.
We do this all. Conley the bump. Doncic hits, foul call. He's got 14 in the first quarter.
And the record when Doncic and Reeves run the offense without James? 10 wins, 2 losses. So why does the drop-off happen? The short answer is that basketball is about spacing, timing, and clarity. Knowing who has the ball, why they have it, and what the next read is going to be before the defense can react. When LeBron and Luka are both on the floor, you've got 2 players who are simply at their best when the entire game runs through them. It's not a flaw in either of them individually, it's just the reality of how they're wired as players. Hall of Famer Paul Pierce came out recently and said their skill sets are too repetitive. And as blunt as that sounds, he's essentially right. It's not a talent problem, it's a fit problem. 2 alpha ball handlers sharing 1 basketball, and the offense spending most of its time trying to accommodate both of them instead of just flowing naturally. When LeBron sits, the offense suddenly has 1 primary creator. The reads get cleaner, the pace picks up, and Austin Reeves can actually show you what he is. instead of spending half his possessions standing in the corner waiting for something to develop. We'll get into exactly what Reeves is doing without LeBron in a second, and the numbers are going to surprise you if you haven't been tracking them closely. But first, let's talk about the defensive transformation, because this is honestly the part of the story that most people are sleeping on. Coming into March, the Lakers were ranked 22nd in defensive rating for the season, giving up 115.3 points per game. That is not a playoff defense. That's a team that's going to get exposed the moment it faces a real offense. And the root cause wasn't hard to identify. When you're playing three players who all have defensive limitations in heavy minutes together, you end up hiding all three of them at once, and there's nowhere left to hide. LeBron at 41 is still remarkable by any human standard, but his lateral quickness isn't what it was, and teams know it. They hunt him in pick and roll situations, they run their best guard directly at him, and Luka has never been a stopper, and when you've got both of them on the floor together, you're asking Reeves to help compensate for two defensive liabilities at the same time, which is too much to ask for anyone. But when LeBron is out, Redick can slot Marcus Smart in at the 3 and bring Rui Hachimura into the starting 5. And suddenly, you've got solid point of attack defenders on both wings, and the entire defensive structure changes. During the 3-game win streak without LeBron, the Lakers held their opponents to 106.7 points per game. They held the Knicks, one of the better offensive teams, to 97, and they held Anthony Edwards to 2 of 15 from the field. And when Luka and Reeves play without LeBron, the Lakers are posting a defensive rating of 111, which is top 10 in the league. That's a team playing with a defensive identity it simply cannot have when LeBron is in the rotation. Now, this is the part of the conversation that I think gets seriously undersold in most of the coverage, because people are treating Austin Reeves' production without LeBron like it's a hot streak. Like the schedule is soft or the sample size is too small to mean anything. I want to push back on that, because what we're watching is a player being given the right role for the first time on this roster, and responding in a way that changes what you think the ceiling of this team can be. Without LeBron in the lineup this season, Reeves is averaging 28.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 7.8 assists per game across 16 games. That's a sustained run of production that would make him a legit all-star on most rosters in this league. Luka, in that same sample, is 35.1 points, 9.3 rebounds, and 8.4 assists. So you've got two players in the same backcourt, both producing at a level where either of them would comfortably be the first and second option on almost any other team in the NBA. And the reason it works is actually simple when you watch the film. Reeves is one of the best off-ball movers in the league. He's elite coming off screens, he reads the defense quickly, he makes the right pass and finishes in traffic. He doesn't need the ball to be effective, but he's more than capable of creating when it gets to him. That's the exact profile you want playing next to a ball-dominant superstar. He complements Luka rather than competing with him, just like Kyrie did at Dallas. And Luka clearly feels it. After the Knicks win, Doncic himself said, "Playing with him makes my life easy because he draws so much attention and helps others too." That's Luka telling you that Reeves is genuinely making him better. The two-man game these two run is already starting to look like a real offensive system rather than just improvisation. Luka brings the ball up, draws two defenders, and swings it to Reeves coming off a drag screen or popping to the mid-post. Reeves either hits a clean look and scores, or finds the open man or a cutting Luka. When teams try to front Reeves and take that pass away, Luka walks into an open pull-up 3. There's no good answer for the defense when both reads are that dangerous. It's pressure and release, the same dynamic that makes elite backcourt pairings work across NBA history. And the thing that makes it genuinely exciting is that we're barely scratching the surface of what these two can do together. They haven't even had an extended run together as a duo. The reps aren't even there yet. The instincts are still developing, and the ceiling of this pairing, with time and with better personnel around them, is honestly hard to put a number on. And that brings us to the real question at the center of this whole conversation, because the Lakers, with this current roster, are not a championship team. Luka and Reeves are a foundation, not a finished product. So what does this actually have to look like going forward? And is there any version of this that works with LeBron still in the picture? Here's the honest answer. The Doncic-Reeves pairing is not a product of LeBron's absence. His absence just gave the league enough sample size to see what was already there. The kind of pairing where you look at the numbers, you watch the film, and you stop asking whether it works and start asking what it needs around it to become something special. But figuring out what it needs means making some hard decisions. This isn't about disrespecting what LeBron James has done or dismissing what he still brings. He's 41 years old and he's still averaging meaningful numbers on a good team. That's extraordinary. But extraordinary for a 41-year-old and fits well on a championship caliber team are two different things. And the Lakers are at a point where they need to separate those two ideas, because anytime you have Luka Doncic on your team, it's win now time. JJ Redick, who is measured and thoughtful in every public comment he makes, basically laid the core problem out in plain English. He said that for one of those guys, having scored the most points in NBA history and doing it for 23 years, the natural instinct is to have the ball in his hands. And for another guy who's earned 5 first-team All-NBAs, it's the same thing. 2 players, 1 basketball, and neither of them is built to play off the other. That's just the reality of the roster. Realistically, the only path forward, LeBron's contract comes off the books, the front office gets a real off-season with cap flexibility and roster clarity, and they build this thing properly from the ground up. Doncic and Reeves as the foundation, pick up a 3-and-D wing who can guard multiple positions and knock down open threes, and a starting center who protects the rim, sets proper screens, and doesn't ask to be featured offensively. The 5-man lineup that's been working, Luka, Reeves, Smart, Hachimura, Ayton, is not far off. But the question is whether the front office has the clarity and the courage to build a full roster around that core identity. The good news is that the market for that type of player the Lakers need is not dry. Switchable wings who defend and space the floor are in demand everywhere, but the Lakers' pitch to those players in 26-27 is a genuinely strong one. You're not asking someone to sacrifice their game to play next to an aging superstar and figure out where they fit. You're asking them to come and play next to Luka Doncic, one of the 5 best players on the planet, in his absolute prime, with a backcourt partner in Reeves who makes the entire offense flow. Now, my bet is the Lakers will make Peyton Watson a big offer, and considering LA is home, it'll be hard for him to say no. And the timeline here matters. Luka will be 27 years old when the 26-27 season tips off. The prime window is here. 5 first-team All-NBAs before he turns 27. If the Lakers build the right roster around him over the next off-season, we might be talking about a legit multi-year contender in the Western Conference. Now, I know some of you are already thinking, okay, but what about this postseason? The Lakers are 3rd in the West right now. Does this team have a real run in them? Probably not. This current roster doesn't have what it needs to compete with the likes of OKC and the Spurs. At this stage, a second-round exit might be as good as it gets. But no matter what happens, the remainder of the regular season and postseason is going to be revealing. If the Lakers go on a real run with Luka and Reeves leading the way and LeBron in a reduced role, the front office gets the clearest possible signal about what this team's identity should be. If LeBron comes back healthy and the same fit issues start showing up again against elite defenses, that's a signal too. Either way, the regular season data has already been telling the story. The Lakers have something real. It's a 26-year-old Slovenian who makes the game look effortless, paired with a kid from Arkansas who had to earn every single thing he's gotten in this league. That's the future. And the sooner this front office gets fully honest about that, the sooner this team stops being a franchise people find interesting and starts being one that they're genuinely afraid to play. Here's where I'll leave you on this. Most of the conversation around LeBron James and the Lakers this season has been about legacy. Can he still do it at 41? What does this run mean for his career? Where does he sit all time when it's finally done? And look, those are fine conversations. LeBron's legacy is one of the great ongoing sports stories of the last 2 decades. But they're the wrong conversations for this franchise right now. The right conversation is Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. They are a real backcourt, not a circumstantial one, not a product of an injury, a genuine, sustainable pairing with elite offensive production and can be a part of a defensive structure that works when the right personnel surrounds them. The Lakers just need to be fully honest about what they're building and make the decisions that give those two the best possible shot at something real. They made it painfully obvious. Now it's time to actually act on it. What do you think this Lakers team's ceiling is this season? And who should they pursue in the offseason? Comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hype up the video, and check out one of these videos on your screen now.